My name is Ashley Davis, and I am a reading recovery teacher at Camden Station Elementary School. And I have been using Google Sheets for the past year to help me with collecting data on my intervention students and reading recovery students that I work with. And I've found it very useful. And so I just wanted to make a quick video to kind of show anyone out there who could use Google Sheets to keep student data and to see student progress over time. If that would be useful for you, then this is a good video for you. So anyway, I have right here in front of me just an example of some student data that I would collect. Um, I'm going to have dates right here in column A, the text level. Since I'm a reading teacher, this applies to me specifically, but text level that the children read, and then the percent of accuracy that they scored reading those texts. And as you can see, I didn't fill in all of the dates, and I wanted to show you just one quick thing in Google Sheets here that makes dating really easy. And that is, for this example, I'm pretending that I'm taking a running record on the kids every Friday. And so I, of course, want Fridays dated through column A here. And I have the first two Fridays of September, the 6th and the 13th, already there. And so if I just click on those two dates, it's going to show Google Sheets that that's my interval of time. And so if I just take this little box right here and continue moving it down, it will go ahead and complete dating at that same interval, on a weekly basis here without me having to type in every single date. So that's just a quick and easy way to date using Google Sheets. And then for this example, I want to have a graph that shows these dates across the horizontal axis, but then I also want to have to show like change in text level over time. And so I want column B to be included in my graph. And so I'm going to select these two columns, and I'm going to go to Insert Chart, and it should generate a graph for me. But this graph, although it's nice and it does show the information I want it to show, it's not exactly what I want. For example, along this axis, the vertical axis here, it's showing the text level, and it goes from 0 to 6. But let's say, my goal for the students is to reach a text level 10. I may want that axis to continue on up to a 10. Or if you look at the dates across the bottom, Google Sheets has sort of just done some standard dating for me across the bottom, but I would rather have the dates of the intervals that I've entered here. So there's just a few changes that I want to make that I want to show you real quick. So over here, going back to the vertical axis, if I just click on the vertical axis, it'll give me some options over here on the right side of the computer, where right here, the minimum and maximum values. Let's say I want the minimum value to be 0, which it is right now, but I want my maximum value to go up to 10. I would just enter that here, and then as you can see, the chart just adjusts for what I entered into it. And then the horizontal axis down here, if I just click on that, this option right here that says treat labels as text, that is going to change the dates into these dates in column A that I'm wanting. So if I just click that, as you can see, it went ahead and just changed those dates for me. One other feature that I would like to have on my graph is data points. I'd like for each of these data points to have a little circle on it to show exactly where it is. So if I go up to this option series right here, and then go down to right here, point size, right now it's on none. So if I click on maybe like a 7 point, that will give me little dots showing each of these points in time for the text level that I was wanting. I can, of course, just simply move my title to the middle by clicking right in there, just to make it look a little better. And then one other option I wanted to show back down in the series tab, I clicked on series again, is way down here where it says trend line. That's where you can add a trend line to your data to which is just helpful to see how the child's progress is trending over time. And it also helps just to kind of get a projection for growth based on the student's current progress. So let's say in this intervention group or whatever it is that I'm keeping data for, let's say I have 4 more weeks with this student in my intervention group. And so let's say I want to go ahead and have those 4 dates entered into my graph so that I can see their projected growth for all 4 of those next weeks. So what I would do is come back over here to my date column, and I'm going to select the last 2 dates to again show Google Sheets what interval of time I'm wanting my dates to be. And then I would just pull this little square down for 4 more weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that should date it for 4 more Fridays, which it does, take me down to November 15th. But as you can see, that didn't automatically change the dates in the graph. So I'm going to click on my graph again, and I am going to go now to this option that says Setup, because I want my data range to change. Because, before when I clicked it, it was I inputted A1 through B8, but now I would really like for it to go all the way down to B12. And so I'm just going to simply change that so that it goes to B12. And then once I click out of that, yeah, it adds all of those dates that I just added. It puts them into the graph. And as you can see, the trend line now gives me a projection of growth for the student that I'm working with. Based on this rate of progress, by the end of my intervention time, the child should be reading around a text level 8, getting close to a 9. So that's kind of helpful for me to see as an intervention teacher. Let's see. Okay, another useful feature of Google Sheets that I wanted to show is an option called conditional formatting. And so what I would do, I have not done anything with column C right here. Because I use the dates in my graph and I use my text levels in my graph, but my percentage of accuracy, I haven't done anything with that yet. And so I would like to conditionally format these percentages to show myself which texts were too hard for the child, and then which texts were either too easy or just right for the child to be reading. And so as a reading teacher, I know if the percentage of accuracy is 90% or above, that was a good choice of text. If it's about 89% or below that, that book was too hard for that child. So if I just highlight that column C and go to Format and then choose Conditional Formatting, I can enter in some rules so that every time I enter data into this column, it's going to show up a certain color. So let's see. Let's say that I want any percentage that's entered that's 90% or above to be green, to show myself that that was a good choice of text for that child. What I would do is it's going to apply it to the whole C column, which is fine. Here is where I get to choose my rule. So if I scroll down to greater than or equal to, that's what I want, because I want the rule to be if it is greater than or equal to a 90%, and I enter the 90% there, I want that to show up green, which is the default color here. So that's fine with me. So I would say I'm done with that rule. And as you can see, if you look in column C right here, that's already happening. All the values that are 90% or above are now green. And so now I want to add another rule. Let's say I want to make any value that is 89% or lower to show up red. So I would just click Add Another Rule. I want to go to less than or equal to 89. Okay, so I just now entered in the conditional formatting rules, if the value is less than or equal to 89%, I want that to be red, like this reddish color. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm done with that. So those are my two rules. So now in this column, as you can see, when the values are entered at 90% or above, it'll turn green. At 89% or below, it should turn red. And so let's just test it out. Let's say on October 25th, the child reads a text level of 7. As you can see right there, that text level went ahead and got graphed automatically. And then let's say the child read at 86% accuracy. When I click out of that, that cell now turns red. And so conditional formatting is just really useful to help you kind of analyze and sort through data. And the final thing that I wanted to show is just how easy it is. It's just how easy it is to now share this data with teachers, because as an intervention teacher, it's important for me to make sure the classroom teachers know how their students are doing. So let's say I wanted to add the student's name to this. I would just click on this row, on the top row, and I could say insert one above. That's going to give me a row above here to enter a name. So let's say this is student 1. So I've entered their name, but as you can see, it's kind of off center. So I can just merge some cells here. This option right here is merge cells. And so that will give me just one big cell to put the student's name in. And then I can simply go to the share button and either enter teachers' names that I want to share this with, or something I like to do is get just the shareable link right here, and it automatically copies that for me. It's copied to my clipboard automatically, and I can now link this graph to perhaps a PLC agenda, so that the student's progress can be talked about if it needs to be. So anyway, those are just some helpful tools that Google Sheets offers, and I hope that you have found this video helpful. So thank you for listening. Bye.